brackets for tonight's game.
Hello and welcome to Robert Capaferri Football Field here in Hammonton for Vineland's opening game as the Fighting Clan take on Hammonton. Along with me tonight is Terry Love replacing Coach Parentazzi, and for all of you who have been with us for years, Coach is fine. He's just going to do a few of the home games this year and not travel out on the road. That's part of our COVID plan for Coach. So welcome aboard, Terry.
Thanks for having me back, Rich. It's always excellent to be here with Vineland High School football.
Well, tonight we have an interesting matchup as Hammonton already had a game underway, and last week fell behind 14-0, then came back to beat Millville. And this is a strange season as we get away with our divisions and just play some local teams. And for Hammonton, getting off the schneid right away and getting out to that 1-0 start is big, and they return a lot of players to their team.
Yes, quite a few players are coming back from Hammonton. Most of their starters on both sides of the ball are back. That experience really showed out last week and coming back and beating the Millville Thunderbolts.
Well, for Hammonton, they're 6th ranked in South Jersey, 10-3 last year, Royal Division champs, Central Jersey Group 4 champs, and lost in the state title to Shawnee. And we're going to get a little more into them in a moment, but it seems like we're right up against the national anthem. So as I was mentioning, last week getting off to that win against Millville, it's Jaden Abrams, who last year had over 1,800 yards, 21 touchdowns, a running back for Hammonton. Looking to break the all-time career rushing mark by Greg Silvestri at 4,279 yards in 1999. He has roughly 3,700, so there's a chance with this shortened season he could still do it. Hammonton returns 25 letter winners, 9 on offense, 8 on defense. They've made 35 playoff appearances, 6 sectional titles, and last year the offense averaged nearly 27 points a game while just yielding 16.
All right, so Hammonton, as far as their offense, it seems to be all about Jaden Abrams. As Scoop mentioned here, he is their offense. It is a ball control offense that really relies on him putting in the work. You're also going to see Kyle Vandiver, quarterback, coming out, throwing the ball, and controlling the offense. When he does go to the air, look for him to pass the ball to Andrew Riker, and look for Johnny Schiabilla to be up front, giving him all the protection he needs.
And we'll get more into our pregame as it looks like the teams are ready to go, and it won't be long till we're underway as Hammonton will be kicking off to Vineland to get this started. For Vineland's Coach Russo in his 8th year, 35-37. Last year 6-5, including a playoff win. And they lost in the Group 5 semifinals, averaging 27 points a game on offense, but yielding 23. And here's the kickoff. Tony and Mason back deep. This one's going to go to Mason. He's going to take it at 13. Starts to head right upfield. Has a little bit of a seam. Stays on his feet to the 40, to the 45, and finally brought down by the kicker at the 50.
Nice little return there, Rich, following behind his blockers and then turning it up to the near sideline.
And Andrew Riker, not just a regular kicker, he's also a wing back and a cornerback, makes the tackle at midfield, but Vineland with great starting position.
Get to see Caleb Gandy under center for his first start as a senior. So a lot going on right here.
Well, for that Vineland offense, it's Marcelo Ojeda at center. And this one's going to be Gandy up the middle by himself, has an opening, picks up about 6 or 7. Alongside of him, left tackle Dave Dutra, the senior at 6'4", 260, last year all-conference performer. Tyrese Plow, right guard, the senior 6'2", 245, right tackle. Josh Bennett at 6'2", 240, and left tackle Eli Anderson, 6'3", 240. So of those guys, 3 started all last year and 2 more played quite a lot. So finally a little bit of a lean in the advantage on the offense. And here's Arthur, picks his way, breaks through the middle, and he's brought down another touchdown-saving tackle by Riker. But Vineland with the quick first down. As we talk about the quarterback, Caleb Gandy, this group as a freshman were undefeated. Gandy bided his time at freshman quarterback, JV quarterback, and then we had Pacheco hurt, and is Gandy getting in. Then we had Shelton hurt.
Yes.
Is Powell doing it, or is Gandy? Gandy's waited his turn, and now he has the chance to do it. And he can throw, he can run. I think he's a solid play up inside there. Little delay this time, and over the left side goes Blakely, who picks up just a couple.
Again, you're seeing great vision by the running backs of Vineland. The hole initially wasn't there in the last 2 runs, but they used their vision to find where that hole was and then blast right on through it.
To round out Vineland's offense, wide receivers number 5, Ethan Evans, tight end number 30, Lathan Kent, Ryan Fennels at tight end also at 6'2", a junior, 195. Levi Manson, 6'4", 200 at the 1 wide receiver, along with Tony, who had 7 touchdowns and was about 15th in the league in receiving last year. So second down. This time hitting the backfield is Blakely. Nice tackle on the play. Looks like Oliveira in on that.
Sorry, Rich, I think that was Michael D'Agostino, who did a good job of shedding his block right in the middle and meeting the running back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Vineland has a big size advantage up front on both sides of the ball, but Hammonton has experience advantage. These guys have played together a long time, and although they're a little smaller as a unit, you can almost count on them to do their job a little more than you can with just a few really big guys.
Yes.
So third down here for the Clan. First time Gandy looks to throw, and he throws it. It's going to be picked off in the middle of the field. Returning it out to the 40-yard line is Brock Weissman. The senior comes up with a pick of Gandy's first throw, so Hammonton will take over right at their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, Gandy just didn't account for that linebacker dropping back into that zone and thought he had his receiver just as Weissman was there for the interception.
Well, this is the interesting part now that Hammonton's offense takes over. They're going to see a true 3-5 with just a 3-down lineman, and how's this wing T offense going to block it? Are they going to waste a couple people on somebody? So Rivers at nose, an all-conference performer at over 350 pounds, and can move.
Yes.
So he's going to be getting a double team. We're going to free up backers. So it's a matter of them linebackers pressing the line and filling. And let's see what we have here on first down. And a little miscommunication. Looked like the first back didn't want it. The quarterback wanted to give it to him, but a loss of 3 on that. So for Vineland up front, it's DeMarcus Rivers, the senior at 6'2", 360 at nose. Eli Anderson, senior, 6'3", 240 at tackle/end, along with number 8, Ryan Williams at 6', 225. Nas Butler, the senior, number 45 at inside linebacker, along with second-team all-conference Lathan Kent at 6', 225. He is a senior. Will Davis and Ryan Fennell will control the outside linebacker positions. Levi Manson at corner, along with, well, Tony was. He just moved to safety. So we'll have to see who goes in there. But Antoine Rivera back at safety. and it looks like Tony drops back to safety. Another give on the inside. Nothing there initially, but breaking through before he's wrestled down after a first down.
Ryan Williams doing a good job coming in pursuit from the opposite side of the field to track the running back down.
So it looked good in the start, but able to stay on his feet is Vandever, who has a first down in Vineland territory. So from a 3rd and long to a 1st and 10.
As you mentioned, Rich, Vineland has some big beef up front on the defensive line. So it is going to be a great opportunity for Lathan Kent and for Nas Butler to get in there, to scrape along that line and fill those holes where the running backs will be coming through.
Just heading through the middle, but that's a nice surge, picking up about 5. Up front for Hammonton, it's Joe McIntosh at 5'10", 190. Alongside of him at the guards position, Michael D'Agostino, senior, 5'11", 235. Brock Beebe, the senior, at 5'11", 200. Tackles Johnny Scabilla, 5'11", 215. And Luis Rodriguez, 5'10", 260. They also bring in extra lineman, 59, Louis Richter, quite a lot. They run a lot of off-balance lines, so it's about identifying it early. I'd say against Millville, about half the time they had an unbalanced line. Give up the middle and close to the first down.
For a short gain up front, Vineland still doing that excellent job, bending, not breaking, not giving up that big run.
So 3rd and just a little. Skill positions, Austin Hudak, number 20 at tight end. A.J. Riker at a wing back. Of course, Jaden Abrams, we'll talk more about him as we get going here. One of the best running backs in South Jersey. And at the running back position with Temple out in the slot. So
Hammonton.
3rd and short. Vandever takes it himself.
Ooh, Rich, I don't know if he got it there.
Well, if not, I'm sure he can get it the next time.
Yes.
Yeah. He's really close. It's going to be 4th and inches or 1st and 10.
Hammonton came to the line of scrimmage. They spread everybody out, which is not something they normally do, so you know something's up when a ball control team sends 2 wideouts to one side of the field.
And they get the first down.
So what do you think, Rich? Moving Tony to free safety to fill that void left by the graduation of Powell, was that the smart move to do?
You know, it's tough. If Tony was 4 inches taller, I don't know, because with Manson at 6'4", but Tony at like 5'9", 5'10", like, you know, you can defend a little better. Trying to get a little hook, and they do, but they may have done it with a little bit of a hold. Looks like that one's going to come back on a holding play. They pick up 7 on the play. Maybe 8, but there's a hold right back at the 40-yard line.
And one of the hardest blocks to make in all of football is that hook block out on the outside. You're kind of sitting out there for everybody to see what you're doing.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide, and when you have a big lineman trying to make a block against an aggressive, lean athlete, it's usually a little easier to force some separation. So that happened at the 42. We're going to go back to the 52. So Hammonton back on their own side of the field, where it'll be first down yet again. So Vineland Hammonton, since 2006, they've met 4 times in 2006, 7, 8, and 9. Hammonton won them all with an average score of 29-7. None of those games under Coach Russo, as it's been a while since these two have met up.
Looks like we have a little movement up front on the Hammonton line.
That's 17 yards, or 15 yards in 2 plays, going to push Hammonton back. And one of the highlights, I mean, there's a lot of years I did games where Vineland struggled.
Yes.
Yeah, there were some tough games to call and to be with. And one of the ones that wasn't was in 2007, where VHS lost at home to Hammonton in 2 overtimes. And Vineland went on to be 4-6, which was probably the best record in years. And Hammonton went on to be 9-2. So
yeah, go figure.
Vineland played them really tough at home. But it's not been the same when we've been here.
As we see now, Hammonton in a situation they don't like to be. Any down and long.
Well, when we talk about being here, I mean, beautiful new high school, beautiful new field. But I can't wait to get back home to the stadium in Vineland.
Nothing like a Tone Stadium. Nothing at all.
No, yeah, I mean, you couldn't make a field much better than this. But you don't go to Italy to see the new churches. You know what I mean? You go to see the old ones, and that stadium built with the WPA money in Vineland and refurbished and all. It's just a great
beautiful
atmosphere.
refurbishment job. On top of that, to boot.
Yeah, I didn't see any new churches when I went to Italy, just the old ones.
Haven't been there yet.
So first and a long way, and I think Hammonton's going to take a timeout as there's a little bit of confusion on that side. So Jaden Abrams last week had a ho-hum first half. We talked after I watched the first half of the game, and I was like, oh, nice running back. Yeah. He's like, you watch the second half? I'm like, not yet. I will. And then you got to see him explode a little bit. But it's going to be interesting, and we're going to find out soon. Although we already have over 7 minutes gone in the first quarter. We're down to 4:52. To see how this offense works against those extra linebackers. And if pretty much Nas Butler can make the right read and get where he needs to be, we're going to be okay. Yep. Lathan Kent, of course, has all the experience in there. Butler, the other inside linebacker, the senior, started a few games last year. But I think the problem was tracking the guards.
Yes.
And I know when I coached at Vineland, I think we played 7 out of 9 teams ran a wing T, including us.
The old cow.
Making
That's
it
what
8.
it was. It was the
so,
wing
like,
T league.
you kind of just drilled it in all the time what to do. And when you're an aggressive linebacker like Butler, you want to react on your instincts, and it's kind of hard to make reads and play the game at a slower pace than he wants to. There's a give over to the left side and a nice tackle on the outside.
Looks like that's Ethan Evans over there.
Yeah, Evans pops in for a tackle for no gain.
Good job keeping outside contained, stepping in, making that tackle.
Ethan, a little undersized for Vineland. But Ethan knows how to play the game. He was undersized when he was my senior league catcher, but he had a strong arm and knew how to play the game. So he has all the intangibles in there. Second and really long. We're talking 2nd and 22 with just 4 minutes and 10 seconds to go. There's a little swing pass dumped out and hit out of bounds after a gain of about 7. That one is complete to Abrams.
Jonathan Toney doing a great job dropping in that zone, keeping everybody in front of him, and then stepping up to make the tackle when needed. Little laundry on the field.
I think this is going to be the 4th penalty, and I think all of them are going to be on. Oh, this one's on the Fighting Clan. Let's see how far he's going to go. Lordy-doody, lordy-doody, lo. It's at least 10. Hold up. Oh, he's going 15. It's going to set up a 3rd and about 2. 3rd and 3 for Hammonton. Didn't see a signal for the call.
Still haven't. Waiting on the official to make the
3.
Seems to be a little confusion on the down over there.
Well, they got 2nd, so 2nd and 3. Hammonton back within down and distance for their running attack. This is a big penalty. Quarterback keeps it. Gets a nice block. Cuts to the inside. Drives inside the 5. The ball's loose.
Looks
and
like
it looks like
Vineland's
come up with it at the 4-yard line. Kyle Van Ever had it. Made a nice move off a block to get inside the 10. But as he's going down at the 5, it looks like he lost it, where the Fighting Clan will take over. Hammonton's defense heads to the field. Vineland's offense, and sure enough, the officials signal a fumble and a recovery for the Fighting Clan.
It's always that hardest thing, getting that strip tackle from behind, and that was a perfect job of it there.
Well, Gandy back under center. The first drive moved a little bit until the interception. Gandy has his heels in the end zone. And he gives, and not much there. And the defense swarms up and closes in. No gain.
As much as Vineland tried to spread them out there with the wideouts, linebackers did a great job from Hammonton, scraping and filling the hole.
Well, not that you can do it with your quarterback's heels in the end zone,
No.
but you got to make them respect that you can fling it out there too, but not the down and distance or the right spot on the field
No,
to
not
do
at all.
that. So, you know, any defense is going to just converge on that run. Anthony Arthur just over 100 carries last year for nearly 400 yards, but it was Nazir Broom leading the way. Here's Arthur's turn this time, gets around the right side. He's tripped up and brought down game of about 2. It's going to make it 3rd and 6.
Couldn't just get that edge. That's what he was looking for, getting to the outside, but he just couldn't get it fully. D-backs were able to step up and make that tackle. Something I've noticed here, Rich, is the what seems to be a mismatch. Manson with his height and a cornerback out there who looks to be about 5'8".
Yeah, and that
Might
was
be something to take advantage
That was one
of.
of the things I thought Tony may have moved, you know, there because of the height differential. Because I'm looking at Tony at 5'8", trying to cover a 6-foot receiver, but for Hammonton, vice versa, they have a 5'8" corner trying to cover a 6'4" receiver. And if he can get enough time up on the line, Gandy can throw it. You know, we've had some good tackles in the years at Vineland, and Dutra in at guard still fits the tackle mold as one of those.
With that size, definitely.
There's a keep, and the swarm comes through in the middle, and that's going to be 4th and long, 4th and 6 from the 4-yard line. So now punting, I've seen Blakely kicking and Gandy kicking, and I don't think their punting is going to be on their college game films.
No.
So place kicking, Henry Garton, 2nd-team all-conference last year. You know, so we get to place kicking, that's a different thing. But punting hasn't been that great for the past few years for Vineland. So let's see who's going to handle this one.
Like
And
it's
it's
gonna be
Gandy.
back deep.
Gandy can do a little Shelton-esque, a line drive through the 2 guys back to return it, and they're only standing at the 38-yard line. High snap, Gandy has it. Hits a line drive. It may get over their head, but no. Nice catch coming down with that at the 40. Making a move to the inside. Spin move down to the 25-yard line goes Santino Rio.
Good job of Antoine Rivera getting downfield, breaking down, making that classic open field tackle.
Boy, field position, a problem for the Fighting Clan here as we're down to 1:50 to go in the first quarter.
Looked like Vine was going to be able to flip the field early with that nice opening kickoff return, but since it hasn't worked out for him.
Yeah, so even though we're at zeros with Hammonton in great field position, yeah, Vineland's had their back to it inside their 10 on the last stop. So it looks like that slot receiver for Hammonton, Rio, has a little bit of room. Trying to get to the outside, and there's that speed that netted him so many yards. As there was nothing there, should have went for no gain. Instead, it's going to be a gain of 3, almost 4.
And what we can thank for that little gain there is undersized Ethan Evans again, stepping up from the outside, took on 2 blockers to free up some other Vineland players to help in their pursuit.
So it's going to be officially 2nd and 7. You know what gets me? We have we've had really good offensive linemen. One played in the NFL, a couple of them at college playing, but they just don't transition to the defensive side. Up the middle, churning away a little bit short of the first down is going to go Brock Weissman.
Something a little different wrinkle from Hampton, giving the fullback give that time. Looking real classic wing T.
Yeah, I can remember playing. We had an offensive tackle, Ricky Bernozzi, who was fantastic, all South Jersey. Boy, he couldn't play defense, save his life. Yeah, I would think there's enough that you could play on both sides of the ball a little bit. And it wasn't for a lack of conditioning. Just
sometimes it just doesn't equate.
A different mentality. Give up the middle. First guy misses. Looks like it's going to be just short of a first down. It's going to be 3rd and about a foot.
Lathan Kent doing a fabulous job there. While he was still trying to shed the block, took on the runner full speed in the chest, but still brought him down. So got a measurement coming here.
So Abrams hasn't got loose yet. But
Which
I do see a defensive scheme that is pretty much like it's a picket fence on the outside.
yes,
We're going to give you 4 or 5 if we need to. But I think if he's going to get it, it's going to be through the middle with a linebacker missing. And then your safeties are out on the hashes and there's room to move. But
which goes back to what you were talking earlier. Having your linebackers key on those guards, reading those guards, so you don't give up those big chunks right up the middle.
oh, first down. Well,
By the
I'm sure
nose.
it is a first down, but where the down markers were in the tackle wasn't. But by the time they bring them in, it is. So first down for Hammonton, as they got just enough on that one. Yeah, I would never argue a 2 feet either way when we're up on an angle and everything else, but certainly from here, the angle we're at,
Yes.
he was short from where the marker was on the side, but he wasn't where it really was. So Hammonton ready to go. They're all tight. Bring in a couple extra linemen, one at running back, and they're making you think they're going to run to the right. Let's see. They're going to run to the right. Vineland makes the hit and the stop after a gain of 1.
There it was again. DeMarcus Rivers doing a great job of eating up blockers to free up the linebackers, filling that hole for a very short gain.
So if you're Hammonton, you come up with the same formation and then you flip it to the left to Abrams. Are you doing it yet? Or you're waiting. Are you keeping that one
Too
in your
early.
pocket?
Too early.
Too early. That's in your pocket. So the ball at the 14-yard line. We're down to just 22 seconds to go in the first quarter. Make that the 13-yard line. And it's 2nd and 9. This will probably be the last play of the first quarter if Van Dever gets it off. Van Dever gives, runs in, pitches it back, and a tackle for a big loss is going to make it 3rd and 12 as we hit the end of the first quarter.
Although they did try to say what you just do of going out to the wide left part, they did not give it to Abrams on that particular run, but they were thinking what you were saying.
So down in distance looking good for the Fighting Clan as we head to the second quarter, but it's Hammonton yet again in the red zone knocking on the door. Mentioned Vineland's returners, did it real briefly, but first team all-conference guard Dan Dutra, first team all-conference nose tackle DeMarcus Rivers, second team linebacker Lathan Kent, wide receiver running back Tony, kicker Garton. Vineland also lost Tyrene Powell, who's at Rutgers, Ryan Shelton playing in college, and Barry Turner, just to name a few that we've lost, not even mentioning our leading rusher for 2 years, Broom.
Yeah, so on the defensive side, I think, in my opinion, it all comes down to Lathan Kent and his play. Last year he was a full-time starter. He's been getting plenty of time as he's been coming through the ranks in the Vineland defense, but he is the key. He's the motor to that whole defense. DeMarcus Rivers up front, Ryan Williams up front are going to do their job that they need to do, but it's going to come down to Nazir Butler stepping up into that starting role full-time and playing well.
So the ball's going to be marked just inside the 20, and it's going to be 3rd down. Van Dever getting under center. Couple backs behind him. Of course, Abrams back there, along with Weissman. Big 3rd down here. Vineland get off this 3rd down here without giving up more than 3 or 4.
It would be huge.
Now Abrams going to check out. Van Dever to throw. He's looking in the middle, floats it up, it's high and complete, and breaking a tackle down inside the 2.
He was just able to float into that soft spot in the zone. Vanderbilt was able to look over and see him just kind of settling in and float the ball right into his hands.
It was kind of like everybody decided to go for it, but it didn't seem like a lot of
It was a little floater of a pass, yes.
and tenacity getting to the ball. But Hammonton had enough of that to get a 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. The to give over the left side in the end zone for the score.
Weissman again.
And Weissman's going to get the first score of the game for Hammonton with 11 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first half.
Thus far, we've seen a lot of sharing of the running duties with Hammonton, which wasn't the case last week. Quite surprised by that.
So for Hammonton, they're going to go for one. It's long snapper center Joe McIntosh. Holder's going to be Santillo Rayo, and the kicker A.J. Riker. I just think everybody underestimates and undervalues extra points. And the snap is good. The kick is up. It looks partially blocked. And no good. Kind of like watching the Eagles last week when they went for two in the beginning. If they didn't get it, you wanted to pull your hair out. But when they did, you're like, hey, we're all right. And that's the same feeling here for Vineland. Bad field position pins them back. Hammonton able to convert a big third down and then get that touchdown in there. But they only have 6 on the board. Vineland's offense will take back over for the third time. The first time they moved the ball a little bit. The second time they started with their quarterback's heels in the end zone. It was kind of self-defense.
Tough spot to be in there.
Didn't defend themselves very well as they weren't able to convert a first down on that drive.
Coach Russo giving the special teams, the return team, a nice talking to. Tell them, hey, let's try to do what we did last time. We got ourselves in a good spot on the field. We were able to move the ball coming off that excitement and that big return. So hopefully we can get some of that again.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a lot of attempts at special teams. You know, we've seen pop-up kicks to the 35 and then tackling them. We've seen punts hit and roll on the grounds. And I think one place that Vineland can do some damage is the open field with special teams in this matchup tonight.
Yes.
This matchup tonight, Hammonton wants to grind it out with system. Vineland has their own system, which is very effective, but you also want to get some space for your playmakers.
One thing Vineland is consistent with year in and year out, no matter how good, bad the team is, it's their speed.
And here goes Tony at the 15. He jogs to the middle of the field to the 20, makes a cutback, looks to the inside, tries to bounce out, and he's only going to go to the 22. Very patient return, and not a bad return either. As nothing opened up, but he was able to survey 2/3 of the field on that one, and Hammonton just did a really nice job on kick coverage.
Yeah, a lot of players from Hammonton staying in their lanes as you're taught to do. Through that, even though it's the last part of practice every day is that special teams, but they did what they needed to do, stay in their lanes, keep your contain.
And for Vineland, nobody blocking somebody in the back and getting you set back further. So Vineland takes over at the 24-yard line for Gandy's third possession as Levi Manson comes down to the bottom of the screen, and it's Tony up top. It's going to be a give in the middle, and there's nothing there. Arthur does his best to dive forward and pick up about a yard.
Scott Riley in the face of Arthur as soon as he got the ball. He did a very good job of just avoiding that tackle behind the line of scrimmage, though.
So experience-wise up front for Vineland, that left side has a little bit more experience for Vineland. You want to see if they want to try to set something up on there with Anderson and Dutra on that left side. But so 2nd and 9.
Checking out.
And Hammonton checking out. It's just another little dive up the middle. That's going to get them to the 30. That's going to make it 3rd and 3.
Much better job of that senior-laden offensive line on that play, creating a little hole for the back to get up in.
Used to always hear, if you got 3, 4 times, you got a first down. But
Woody Hayes.
But if you don't get 3 to first down, and you happen to get 4 to second down, and you're looking at a 3rd and 6 or a 3rd and 5, kind of messes it up.
Yes.
First down plus yards are so important, and just getting that 1 we got was better than none. But if you would have got 3, 3.5, 4 on that first down, really changes what you're going to do. Now Vineland most likely is going to have to try to get wide or throw the ball here instead of just pound it through the middle. and they're going to try to
go
get
with the
wide,
oh,
and that isn't happening.
big.
Austin Hudak makes a beeline and makes a tackle for a loss.
He immediately closed the distance on Blakely. Didn't give Blakely much of a chance to get turned up, square his shoulders up to get going upfield.
Boy, Hudak, the linebacker, got there in a hurry. So Vineland to punt, Gandy back to kick it. We're at 6-0 Hammonton with 9 minutes to go in the first half.
Now would be a great time for one of those line drive punts to.
The last one almost did it.
I know, last one. This would be great to split the backs there, kind of flip the field.
Vineland ready. High snap by Mejia, but Gandy gets it. Low line drive kick. They yell, get out of the way. Takes a nice roll. And is he going to touch it? And he does. Picks it up, heads to the outside. Van Never down at the 36.
And there's a late hit by Vineland.
Where there's a late hit by Vineland. That's going to set him up at about the 21. Field position dooming the Fighting Clan early in this one.
So what looked like it was an ill-advised pickup by Vandiver on that punt actually turns out for a huge plus for him.
Yeah, about 8 on the return, 15, 22-yard gain. And here they go marching off us. Having a little hopeful optimism that maybe something else weird happened because they didn't march it off.
Yeah.
But they should say, oh, no, they're only going to the 24. So Hammonton 1st and 10 at the 24. Vineland's offense just not able to get on track so far today.
It looked so promising on that initial drive that they had it working, and then since then everything hasn't fully clicked at the same time.
Well, Hudak just destroyed that last play. There's Abrams over the right side, makes a move to the inside, stays on his feet. Abrams in the end zone for the touchdown, the 19-yard run by Abrams.
Offensive line did an excellent job of getting out there and making those hook blocks to keep everybody pinned inside. He was able to get that corner and go right on through to the end zone. This is that time you need that senior leadership. Don't get your heads down. I know we gave up 2 touchdowns, but don't get your heads down this early in the game. There's still plenty of game left for Vineland.
Yeah, and it's really hard to be upset with either side of the field for a missed tackle when you've barely been able to practice or anything. And yet alone you're trying to tackle one of the best running backs in South Jersey. So this kick is up and strong and good. So it's going to be 13-0 Hammonton. It's hard enough the assignment is to tackle a good running back. When you're talking about a great running back, them tackles are kind of hard. Like talking about somebody almost 200 pounds that when you go to hit them, all you see are knees and elbows. There's not a soft spot to get to.
Yeah, looking at the team, he's bigger than a lot of the linemen out there.
Especially, on the Hammonton side.
On the Hammonton side, he's quite a bit bigger than some of the other players on his own team, and that's your running back. So it is, it's a hard thing to tackle someone that big, especially when they get a head of steam going like he did on that last play especially.
It's always a neat thing that for decades Hammonton has had great football programs, and they never have the biggest offensive line. They have the fastest off the ball. They have their rules and blocking assignments down perfectly. They don't make mistakes, and that's something that starts down in the midgets for them where they run this offense all the way through. And they returning 9 starters on offense in your offensive line. I don't care if they weigh 200 pounds or 290 pounds. If you have them all back, that's a big help.
You're coming back from a championship caliber team. You know some things.
So this one again, Tony at the 10 to the 15 to 20. This time he heads up with a little more speed through the middle and is going to be wrestled down at the 29-yard line, where the Fighting Clan will take over and they need to answer. Hammonton with 2 scores on their last 2 possessions.
Looks like Hammonton learned something after their opening kickoff. They're no longer kicking it to Manson. They think they can key on Tony kicking it away from Manson after that big return to start the game.
Boy, and the last time I had a Vineland game was that Vineland-Millville, and Millville scores to take a lead with a minute and 10 or so left, and it was Manson that tipped the ball that got caught for a touchdown, and then he catches a touchdown reception.
Redemption.
A lot of upside with Manson, but we got to get a little flow here. Now looking short, Ryan Williams catches it, but he's only going to gain a couple.
Did a good job of getting himself open in the flat there and holding on to the ball after a big hit from Abrams.
Yeah, Ryan Williams and myself and you, Terry, go way back out teaching at Bridgeton with Ryan Williams as a youngster in our K-8 building. But he's all grown, a senior.
Yes.
Very good defensive end, and now getting some more time on offense.
High energy. He's bringing it to both sides of the ball so far, so that's a good thing to see.
Is that what we call it, high energy?
That's what I like to call it.
Nice. That's a good way to phrase it. Back to pass, setting up a screen. Manson gets it. Boy, but
Abrams there again on the nice tackle.
Abrams didn't misread that. Abrams right up to make the stop right where he touched it.
Vineland running the ball. Those first couple possessions, now they're deciding to open up the offense, it looks like, to see if they can find a hole through the passing game.
Well, you know what? Even if that's the right move, you got to be leery with a quarterback with his first start. We watched Ryan Shelton, who had all the tools to be a great quarterback, and first starts are rough. So look for Gandy to try to get his feet under him. He's under pressure. He's got to get rid of it. He's hit, breaks the tackle, and flings it around.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to get him for intentional grounding here.
And there, I didn't see the flag back there. Yeah, that's going to be a big loss back to the 15.
Although he was out of the pocket, he didn't get the ball past the line of scrimmage, which is the other half of that, the flag being thrown on you there.
So it's basically a 15-yard penalty and a loss of down. So it would have been 4th and 7 from the 34. We're going to have that ball all the way back to the 10-yard line. So Hammonton's going to be set up yet again with great field position.
Just as you were saying with Shelton, with the first year jitters at quarterback, you're new. Although you've played it your whole life, there's nothing like being that #1 varsity quarterback. So there's some things to work out. Hopefully, Gandy's going to work those things out and turn it around with the rest of this game.
Yeah, just no flow or identity to the offense. They haven't had success in much that they could build off and then play off of. And now it looks like we're missing somebody on special teams. So Gandy yet again the punt from his end zone. High snap. Gandy has it, has time, and gets away. A nice high end over end kick. It's going to go out of bounds right about the 32. That could have been disastrous had not Gandy got up and got that one back. We're talking a safety or maybe 7 points on the block kick. But Hammonton has great field position, 6:37 to go here in the first half.
Like you say, good thing Vineland defense can step up and hold them to no points right here, or possibly 3, versus giving up a touchdown off that block punt. So,
yeah, their defense really needs to make a stand. They haven't had much room behind their backs, but it's got to start somewhere. If it's not a spark from the offense, it's got to be from this defense.
It's tough. It's tough to protect a short field.
So 1st and 10, Hammonton, ball on the 21-yard line. Give up the middle. Great surge and great finish. And that's where you're missing a linebacker fill. Linebacker, when they fill in, people don't drive forward for 2 or 3 more yards.
Yeah, that was a big push up front. I believe that was that Austin Hudak there on that carry, I believe.
So 2nd and short, 2nd and 4. Staying on his feet, busting through the middle. in the end zone for a 14-yard run.
So it seemed to be the same play he scored on the last possession. Little counter. The old wing tee standby play.
And you see one helmet moving at a different speed than all the others on the field, and that was Abrams. 5:49 to go. Fields will try to add the extra point. Snap is good, ball is down, kick is up and good.
Finally, the defense did a great job holding him early. He just seemed to have found his rhythm running the ball.
Yeah, 20-0, but almost 6 minutes to go here. Vineland's offense should get the ball in decent starting position this time. They're going to need to try to convert something as this one's starting to spiral a little bit out of control.
I just think both of those, the last two drives Hammonton had, essentially started in the red zone.
Yeah.
They were just outside. So, I mean, it is a tough thing to do, to stop that short, protect that short field behind you.
Well, last week it was all Millville early, out 14-0, and Hammonton stormed back. Well, they've kept their foot on the throttle, now up 20-0 over Vineland. See if Vineland has a little bit of gumption in their offense. Try to get back into this before we hit the half.
Still plenty of time on the clock for Vineland to put together a really nice drive here.
It's been Tony receiving the last two kickoffs. He's back on the left. Manson on the right, Arthur in front of him. And Riker strikes it. This one to the 8. Tony to the middle, has blockers in front, bounces to the outside. Spin move.
He's still up.
Still inside to the 39-yard line. So good field position for the Fighting Clan this time to get it started with 5:40 to go in the first half.
Like we were saying, Vineland's last offensive possession, this be a great time to get those three-yard pops at a time. Get some momentum going. Get a nice drive going into the half. Build on that coming out for the second half.
And when you mention that, we talk about one of the strengths for Vineland. We used to say quarterback, running back, and we have very good quarterback and running back, don't get me wrong. But for the first time, the line is better than it's been. So maybe it's time to lean on them and to try to use your size and pound a little bit. And then also you take time off the clock, get your score, and head back to it. Gandy to throw. Fires it deep. Tipped and incomplete down at the 25. Three receivers,
yeah,
pretty
three
close
receivers in
together.
that area. Two especially close. I don't know if that was a misread of the coverage or what it seemed to be there, but it's not a good thing to see two receivers in the same area.
Now down and distance is off. It's almost like you got to throw one of these next two here. But Vineland went deep trying to get it all back in a hurry. .533 in the first half. Gandy to throw again. It's a quick throw. Looks like Tony has it.
Little hitch route. It's a nice gain with this forward progress.
Gain of about 8. Now I looked at that down marker. Once they snapped the ball, they switched to 3. Like they were back there with the 3 on. I'm like, no, it was second down.
Somebody's quick with it here.
So 3rd and 3 for Vineland, approaching midfield at the 46-yard line.
3rd and 3 gives you some options here. So it's a particularly nice spot to be in. You can run, you can throw. We just have to hope they pick the right run, because there's been a few times the back's been caught in the backfield.
Gandy takes it himself and trapped on that far side. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th and a couple. See if Vineland decides to go for it as they're near midfield with 4:42. And it looks like the punt team's coming on. So another drive goes for naught.
Just seems they're relying a little too much on trying to get outside. With the Hammonton linebackers are doing a great job of flowing to the ball. And the corners are doing a great job on the edges, keeping that contained. Finally just hasn't been able to get there. Let's hope for a better snap here.
I know
Rich.
about trying to get the edge, but sometimes you got to force your will on the inside. Nice kick this time. Comes
And a
down
nice
at the
final
25. Rolls inside to 20 to about the 13, where Hammonton takes over. 3:51 on the clock. It's been all Hammonton early.
Like you were just saying, Rich, before the punt there, you do have to force your will. You have the senior-laden offensive line experience. You haven't had that much success trying to get to the outside. Force it, okay? Just pound that middle. Eventually, it's going to break. It's going to happen. They need to, maybe that'll be one of the adjustments they look into making during half, and come out in the second half and do that.
Well, it may not work, but you may need to give it a try.
Yes.
You certainly need to stop Hammonton here, as Hammonton has their worst field position of the day as they start off at their own 13-yard line. And flags hit the field before the snap. It looks like procedure on Hammonton. It's going to put them back at the 8-yard line.
Forcing Hammonton 3 and out in this situation. Vine gets the ball back. Maybe you still can do something here.
And this half is flying by. Under 4 minutes at 3:50.
The old cow. Everybody ran the ball.
Yeah.
Games were 2 hours.
It was weird. I was looking up old Cal stats, and Hammonton doesn't put theirs in there.
Nasir Butler doing a great job flowing to the ball, filling in that hole, making that nice tackle.
It's a loss of about 1 on the play off Butler's stop. Nas Butler's pop and I played together. We were both nose guards in there. George. And then George's brother Charles, I coached wrestling at the high school. Go way back with the Butler family. Had the opportunity to coach Nas a little middle school wrestling for a year. So it's going to be second and long, 2nd and 15. Abrams over the side. He's brought down, but he's going to pick up about 4. It's going to make it 3rd and 11.
Looks like they're content on running out the clock with that ball control.
Looks like Vineland's going to take a timeout here.
Coach Russo's thinking he can get the ball back here.
Yeah, and you can't carry him over to the second half.
Use him up.
Coach Cliff Smith comes out to talk to his defense. He's the defensive coordinator, and Cliff and I go way back. Our summer jobs were the same job for a little while, but Cliff, really good football mind, but very modest. I used to have to tease him. I'd say, Cliff, you played for the Browns and the Redskins. Like, do you have a rookie card? Yeah. I'm like, I want to see it. No. Like, very modest, man. But I did get to see his card with the Cleveland Browns. So Cliff played on that Syracuse national championship team. And since he's taken over the defense, we've gone to that 3-5, which has made people prepare.
Yes.
At worst. But those tackle/end jobs are so difficult. And that's where Coach Jose Guzman has to work those positions, because the toughest 2 spots on the defense are left and right tackle/ends. I don't know what you want to call them, but with just 3 guys with their hand in the dirt, they're doing the job of 2 guys on each side. And when that works and you have linebackers fill, it works out pretty good. So 3rd and 11. Let's see if Hammonton just runs it, takes some time off, and is happy with they're tight, that's for sure. Tight formation. Quarterback keeps, and he's swallowed up down at the 10, a loss of about 1.
Great job by Antoine Rivera. Tracking down Vandiver from behind. He read the fake and just followed the quarterback. Made a nice tackle from behind to force this 4th down.
Well, Rivera's been in there for a few years now at safety, corner, every D-back spot, and really has a nose for the ball. A little bit undersized, but that certainly doesn't slow him from getting where he needs to get to. 5'10", 165.
I think he got a boost.
I think I'm 6 foot now, too.
I think they gave him a little boost with his stats.
So Hammonton punting from their own end zone. Great snap. Punt nearly blocked, but to the 40. As Tony takes it, turns upfield, looking for a block from Manson. Manson wheels off the first one, and a flag comes in at the 32.
Lots of laundry on the field right now, Rich.
Nice return, couple flags. I would say when we're all done this, Vineland's going to be back at the 48-yard line of Hammonton with 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go. Now, that's not I didn't survey it. I'm just guesstimating. 2 flags. We're at the 30. Let's bring us back to the 48. Let's see what happens.
I think the biggest flag will be what happened back here with the punter.
Oh, look, I couldn't see that
Yes.
one until I leaned forward.
That was the first. Here we go. And it's a personal foul.
Oh, boy.
Personal foul.
We'll talk about a change in down and distance. It's going to be a first down for Hammonton after they've kicked it. Nearly blocked, but if you don't touch it, there's a world of sin.
It's all about that proper angle, and it's hard for young kids to know that angle to catch the ball off the foot without making contact with the punter.
So the 15 wouldn't have been enough for the first down, but it's an automatic first down, so Hammonton takes over at their own 16 with 2:04 to go.
Guess there's going to be no secret here as to what Hammonton wants to do.
I think if I'm Hammonton, I got to be happy with that 20-0 lead.
Yes.
I'm going to hand this ball off a few times. And there's Belly on the
reverse.
inside, almost breaking through. Fortunately, he ran into his own blocker. As Scribilla ran out of people to hit and was looking for somebody, and the running back runs into his back. Otherwise, he'd had another 10, 15 yards.
It looks good on game film to be that lineman going downfield and taking people out, but when there's nobody there, you just kind of stand there looking for somebody. You got to keep moving.
Got to keep moving. I don't care if you don't hit nobody. Just keep running. So 2nd and 6. We're down to 125. There's another give, making the first guy miss and the second before he's brought down, gain of nothing. Back to the line of scrimmage as we're at 115. Who called timeout?
Vineland.
3rd and 7. All right, Vineland calls a timeout at 3rd and 7. Trying to get one more shot with the ball in their hands.
So an interesting situation. I guess Coach Russo, once again, is going to try to rely on his defense to give that offense one more shot before the half.
Well, this could be a little bit of a confidence boost for the defense. And, you know, as Hammonton's moved the ball with great field position, you made a few stops and had them behind down and distance. You can get to hold them here and get the punt. You can build off of that.
Yes.
Now, granted, me and you know Hammonton's offense hasn't been trying to really move down in a hurry. It was ball control trying to kill the clock. But yet it's still something to build off of.
Yeah, I mean, it's a point. They can finally prove themselves. They're not starting on defense in their own red zone. They're actually on the other side of the field. Now you're showing you, with a longer field, you can do the things you need to do to slow this offense down to a 3-and-out.
And there's that battle up front, smaller, faster versus bigger, stronger. And does smaller, faster wear down big and strong, or does big and strong beat down small and faster? And that's what the second half's going to show. Last week it was Hammonton's small and strong that really took over the offensive line in the second half. So that could be another problem for the Clan. So give over the right side. Just trying to stretch him out. Finds a seam, makes an opening. Knocked out of bounds at the 49. What patience. What patience by Abrams.
Abrams followed each and every block that was out in front of him.
If he would have ran as fast as he could, he would have got 12 less yards. Yeah, that was real good vision and real good insight by Abrams.
He waited for D'Agostino getting out there on the horn, getting that edge. He waited for him to just bide his time, get that one little block he needed.
So 1:08 to go. Ball at Vineland's 49-yard line. Hammonton kind of on the move here. Now they may want to open it up a little bit. Abrams down in the slot. Look for a jet sweep here, maybe. Let's see what they want to do with him. And they're going to go belly underneath with him. Tucks his way into the middle. Real nice run. Picks up about 6. Now Hammonton wants to save some time, and they'll take a timeout.
Yeah, that was Winchester coming in from the corner spot to make that tackle. He actually put a pretty nice hit on Abrams right there.
That's 2 plays in a row where it's not Abrams' speed or anything. It was his patience. Reading his block the first time with D'Agostino out in front, and this time running that belly and letting the pull block establish on the inside and going inside of that. So we talk about one of the better backs in South Jersey, and you see why. It's not just he's faster, he's stronger, he has better vision. His brain is pretty good too. I mean, he 2 really smart runs that if he just goes full tilt on either one of them, he's probably getting 4 yards in the carry on both of them.
Running into the back of his lineman,
yeah.
Not letting it develop, and what could have been 12 is now 3.
And how about patience when you got a shortened season because of COVID? You're trying to set the school's all-time rushing mark.
You know it's in the back of his
head.
You know it's in the back of his head.
I'm a selfish jerk when I play sports, and I'd be like, that punt only went to the 30. There's only 30 yards before we get in. Like, I was a selfish jerk. Fortunately for football, I never got to touch the ball. But this field position has killed them this half.
Yes.
Delay on the inside. There's Evans again.
The size mismatch is huge, but you see little man making the play, coming in, making that tackle.
5'7", 160. Evans got some playing time towards the end of last year. Has established his starting role, and he really comes up quick. So we're down to 35 seconds to go. As you see, 20-0 Hammonton, and a 3rd and long. There's a belly. There's some pressure by Evans. Evans still in pursuit. Van Dever floats it, and it's going to be intercepted at the 31.
Still waiting for a signal. Yes. They're calling that an interception. He got his hands underneath the ball before it made contact with the ground.
Couldn't quite see all the way over there. I think it may have been Manson dived in under to come up with that. So Vineland has it, but only 19 seconds left. Be time to heave it pretty far here. Caleb Gandy waiting his turn to be the quarterback. The personal trainer workouts. Let's see if we can hit it to about the 30 and get out of bounds here.
I know he does have the big arm, so this might be his opportunity to show it off.
And he's got a couple big receivers there as Ryan Williams checks in. Tight end out in the slot.
And Manson at the top of the field.
At 6'4". Let's see if the line can give him a little bit of time. And he's firing deep. Manson has it on his feet to the 20, and he's brought down at the 19.
Manson, again, that height we talked about, he out-jumped the D-back.
And a beautifully thrown ball as Manson's hobbling a little bit, but 10.9 to go. Vineland in field goal range off that big play. And they're going to call timeout as Manson's banged up on the tackle.
Looks like it's the old calf cramp again.
You know, that was one good thing about not starting the first week of September. All the hot games and all the cramps. And Coach would always worry that somebody was hurt. I'm like, it's cramps. I should have drank some more. I've had enough of this. But then you watch the Eagles, and you've got Fletcher Cox going in to get IVs because he's cramping up, and he's one of the best players in the league, in the world, and you still don't know to drink enough. I don't know. Seems like life was simpler when my coaches tell me to do something and I did it. But we don't even know that Manson has a cramp. I'm just saying he took a shot when he went down, but just talking about cramps in general.
So that 4-inch difference between Vandiver and Manson right there turned into a huge, huge play.
Yeah, and Gandy delivered a beauty.
Yes, you couldn't ask for a better ball.
And you can't ask Van Dever to do anything different. Yeah, he was right there.
You can't ask somebody to be taller on the spot.
So 10.9, Vineland on offense. Arthur alongside of Gandy as Tony goes in motion. Tony, a leading receiver last year. Let's see what he does out of the slot. And it's going the other way to Ryan Williams, but it's going to be picked off in the end zone. Right between Williams and Evans with 5.1 seconds to go. Hammonton looks like they'll take it over at the 20.
Not sure if communication was perfect on there. It didn't look like Ryan Williams was even turning around for that ball, and that's why it seemed to fall in between he and Evans out there by the goal line.
You know, I would just assume Evans just seen it in the air and busted his butt towards it. That's
True.
kind of
True. That's kind of player he is,
when
yes.
Williams established his position and looked and couldn't track the ball. You know, the only thing worse than 20-0 going into half is 20-0 if you didn't just complete a 40-yard pass and stop the other team. So Vineland has some things they can build off on in the second half. Hammonton's just going to take a knee, and we're going to hit that half. So here from Robert Capaferri football field in Hammonton. This first half has been all Hammonton in game one of our 2020 COVID season. And Vineland did move the ball a little bit at the end, and the defense did stand up a little bit. We're going to have to see what kind of changes they make at the half. Terry?
Yes, indeed. Like as you said, Rich, they do have a couple things to build on. When defense not put in that short field situation, they made the stops they needed to when the ball was placed in the middle of the field or slightly when Hammonton was backed up to their end. Offensively, you had a couple nice runs. You can build off of that. Maybe they now think about establishing the run to the inside. And now you know, given a little bit of time, Gandy has the arm to get it to the receivers down the field.
Well, it's going to be some changes coming out here for the second half, and we're going to step away as we take our halftime intermission with Hammonton 20, Vineland nothing, and we'll be back for the third quarter. The Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of Vineland High School football team this season. Sir Speedy, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Ducharmes, the Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Newfield National Bank, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Caterers, Allen Associates, Delsey ShopRite, Medio Law Firm, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, TechNed Consulting, Vineland Education Association, Begal University, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria and Restaurant, MVP Sports Bar, Richland Carpet and Flooring, G&S Dry Cleaners, Carluzzo and Teresi Petroleum Transporters, Biondi Insurance Agency, Dr. Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, Baruffi Brothers, Lugiano Medical, Van Dodge, Assman Installation, Homestead Plumbing and Heating, the Gorgo Group, the DeWinney family, and the Russo family. The Vineland High School football team and coaches thank everyone for their support on and off the field and look forward to another successful season.
again, the Hammonton Blue Devils would like to thank the following sponsors for the generous donations this season. Corrado's Pizza, United Water, Silver Coin Diner, Country Boy Farms, Deal Electric, Tucko Turf Farms Incorporated, Showcase Sports, Rodeo's Kitchen, A&R Fence and Guardrail, Andy's Pizza, Infrared's Market, Lexa Concrete, Marinella Funeral Home, Hardenberg Insurance, Crescent Service LLC, Calderon Construction, Bagliani's Market, Ocean First Bank, Jersey Boys Jerky, Adrenaline Fitness, ML Ruperton Agency, Land Solutions LLC, West End Grill, and Allison Ann Studios. Thank you very much for your support.
Ready for second half kickoff. It's Hammonton that's going to be receiving this one, up 20-0. T-Love.
Yes, sir.
I'm a little more optimistic, though, and we're not done in this football game yet.
By any means. First game jitters. We do have to remember Hammonton got to play a game last week. They got to actually come from behind, show a little heart, come from behind and win a game. Vineland hasn't had that chance yet. So maybe with this half they can turn it around and get some things working and be that team that makes that big change and gets it going.
But you know what? It could go downhill really quick, and that starts with this opening kickoff. If Hammonton's able to convert this kickoff and a drive into points, that really makes it such an uphill battle. But if Vineland can hold them, it doesn't even have to be a 3-and-out. Keep them on their side, get a punt, get the ball back. That's step one.
Yes.
And right now you need to make step one.
And the defense were playing a lot better at the end of the first half.
Well, it's not
they were
even
making
like
their reads.
It's not even like they played bad in the first half.
Not at all.
Just field position was so horrible. And Hammonton had enough deception that it wasn't Abrams every time. You key on him and you're getting beat on the –
Yes.
You're
Which
getting beat with other
I think that
people.
was one of the things. Maybe it was a game plan thing. Vineland we're told, the players were told to key on Abrams so much, which allowed some of these other backs to get the ball and be productive.
No, and I think it's just a matter of system now. You've got to get your system to win out here if you want to get back in this game. And that's a pooch kick down to the 25, but it works out well as it rolls around. The ball's loose on the ground, and it's picked up and returned. Looks like Winchester for the score. I don't know about a muff rule in high school. That was Winchester, number 20, came up with that.
That's what it looks like they're calling. It's going to be Vineland ball there.
Yeah, it's weird when you go from pro to college to high school, and everybody has a little different rules, but that muff rule right in effect. But Vineland, opening kickoff, they get the ball at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, after the fumble by Hammonton.
What we initially thought wasn't that great of a kick actually worked out in Vineland's favor. We were looking for Garden to pin them deep in their own territory, and let's be honest, the kick wasn't the best, but it worked out, so it's all good.
It was
now.
like a Texas leaguer, just over the infield in front of the outfield, and somebody does something silly trying to get to it. So you couldn't ask for a better start for the Fighting Clan as Gandy has them ready to go. It's 1st and 10. Ball on the 20-yard line of Hammonton. Vineland down 20-0, and we've only spent 6 seconds before the Fighting Clan gets in the red zone here for the first time.
You're just a couple positive plays away from turning everything around right here.
Up. Looks like we got a little head start on that one, Love.
And I said it.
Ball started as Vineland.
Well, you know what? Right when that happens, first thing I think of is my broadcast partner, Coach Parentodge, who's sitting home watching us. Oh, my. How you doing, Coach? I know he's listening. What are you doing? Just stay still.
Yes.
I wanted to get that in for him because he would definitely have put that out. 1st and 15. Fake give up the middle, looking for an out pattern to the receiver. Tony catch and touchdown. Jonathan Tony gets another one in the end zone for Vineland. I mentioned another one. He had 7 last year. That's his 8th. And he pops it in off a nice throw by Gandy.
Yes.
Just one-on-one coverage. Nice pattern, beautiful throw. Had enough. What's the word? I almost said a bad word. Had enough leg on it.
Yes, enough zip.
Yeah, had enough zip on it to get it there on a deep out pattern. That was about a 45, 50-yard throw.
Yeah, given the time, we see Gandy can deliver the ball. He had that big throw at the end of the first half, and now that big throw there.
Ojeda to snap it. And it's Ethan Evans, Mr. Everything, with a bad snap. Now, Garton has it, turns the corner, and knocked out at the 5. Snap wasn't good. Ethan not able to handle it.
Thought you said he was a great catcher for you there, Rich.
He is.
What happened
that was
there?
a wild
just
pitch.
kidding. Just kidding.
Pitch.
That was definitely a wild pitch.
Wild
there.
pitch. Come on. That was Barry Turner last year, one of the seniors, second-team all-conference player that left last year, he held for 3-4 years.
Yes, he was.
And
it
the
was
consistency of having him. Not that Ethan did anything wrong. And, I always talking about Coach. Coach and I often argue and complain. We talk about our kicking game. And the thing is, it doesn't mean you don't have a guy that can kick. Doesn't mean you don't have a guy that can hold the ball. Doesn't mean you don't have a guy that can snap it. And it doesn't mean your offensive line can't block it. But of those 4 things, chances are 25% of the time something's going to get a little screwy.
It only takes one thing to go off.
Yeah, and that's where it's so difficult. I mean, Garton, second-team all-conference kicker, of course, he can make an extra point.
Nothing he can do if it's a bad snap, and
No.
the holder can't bring it down. Although he really tried once he picked the ball up.
I thought he had a chance at first.
He was busting trying to get that corner.
But you couldn't ask for more for the Fighting Clan. We have just 14 seconds off the clock, and now it's a 20-6 game. So Garton will kick it off again.
And after that touchdown pass, I did keep an eye on Gandy as he went to the sideline. That seemed to be a big boost for him. I think he needed it. He's walking around with, I don't want to say swagger, but now he's walking around with a new set of confidence there on the Vineland sideline.
He had the long pass to Manson, and now this one. And this one high, end over end, down to the 12-yard line. Heading up the middle, trying to make a move to the outside, shakes a couple tackles before he's going to be wrestled down at 35. Nice return by Hammonton.
Connie Temple. A lot of speed there.
He made a few guys miss along the way, and good containment by Vineland. It's almost like for years of watching that fly ball to the 30-yard line and just trying to do something there to be able to kick it deep and have people in position to cover the football. It's really going to be a difference as the year goes on.
And that's when those still paying attention at the end of that long practice when special teams finally gets out there. Stay in your lanes. Know your assignments.
This, being here from Coach Parentazzi through the rest of the coaches, whether I coached or did radio or this job, Coach Parentazzi put the most time into special teams I've ever seen.
Yes.
I've ever seen. 1st and 10. There's Belly up the middle, making a few guys miss, but only picking up about 1 on that carry. I can remember Coach Parentazzi throw a football on the field and go field goal and hit a horn. And you could have been in lineman drills and you could have been running a lap. You ran to where you had to get, and we spent a lot of time, but then again, blocking was different then. We could set up a wall, blindside hit people that didn't have their head up. Now it's a foul. And I understand the way the game had to change.
Bigger, faster kids, safety becomes a real issue.
I mean, I was taught if he's running after the ball carrier or the ball, you hit it.
He's eligible
I don't care
to
if he's 40 yards away. What if we fumble? But that's not the way the game's played. So takes a little bit away. A little bit of blocked up on the outside. Nice job by the linebackers. Butler's in there second to make that stop. And it's
now, as we talked about in the first half, Abrams does a little better job of waiting for his blocks to develop. In that situation, Riker running the ball, not as experienced as a back, actually ran into the back of his pulling guard. He didn't let He didn't let it develop enough. Okay, and that happened to work in the Vineland's favor.
And when we talk about Abrams being able to do that, that's not just something people can do. We watch NFL backs do the same daggone thing all the time. Yeah, it was. Let me get this 3rd down off. Big 3rd down, keeping it himself. To the outside, cuts to the inside.
He fumbled it, but it went out of bounds.
He fumbled out of bounds, but it's going to be enough for the 1st down.
Vanderveer on the keeper around the right side.
It's a Pittsburgh Steelers and Jets, Bell, Le'Veon.
Yes.
His hesitation in the backfield, a little hop, a little stutter, and then go.
Drag the leg, all the little things he does that makes him that really good back, letting things develop in front of him. That is a true skill. I don't think that's something you just develop. It's kind of ingrained in you.
Let me tell you, hand me the ball and run as fast as I can to as far as I can. And it's
especially
really
us
tough.
not being fast runners. That would be our philosophy.
When I was 12, I was able to run the ball. Come on. Here's a give up the middle and nothing there. Defense does a nice job as Kent cleans it up with a handful of players underneath as DeMarcus Rivers at the bottom of that one.
Little or no gain on the play.
Boy, and Evans has been on almost every tackle.
I mean, looking at it, he is definitely one of the smaller players out on the field, but he seems to have his nose in every tackle out there.
He got a lot of time near the end of last year, and that's something that really shows off. We talk about this Vineland team, 9-0 as freshmen. I coached freshmen for 5-6 years, and it's really hard to do. So they understand about winning, and they've won on the JV level against really tough competition. And now they have a chance here. We make a stop, get the ball back, and turn this back into a game. Big pressure on the inside. Abrams finds a crack, but
Well, we might have a hold call here.
But Abrams is gone. But it looks like we're going to have a hold at the 50. That's going to make it 2nd down and 15 after they call this back. And there, we can't talk about it any quicker, any better. Patience, vision, and when he planted that outside foot, he was upfield in a hurry.
Yep. That's sometimes things, one of the things that tends to get by a lot of people. They say, oh, they're starting a lot of new kids this year. They don't have a lot of experience. They do. They were playing the same teams the varsity teams were playing. And with the schedule that Vineland had the last few years, let's be honest, it was brutal. The hardest schedule in the league.
Hammonton, perennially one of the best teams in South Jersey, would have been all right, we're okay this week.
Yes.
Yeah, and no knock because they're beating us, don't
Yes.
get me wrong. But when Shawnee that shut them out in the state championship, we've got Shawnee, we've got Lenape, we've lost 4 times to Williamstown the last 2 years.
Timber Creek,
yeah,
and so on and so forth.
And Hammonton, definitely a stud program,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, but I think you'd rather play Hammonton every year than St. Joe's in the prep every year. Yeah, it's just the way it is. And I certainly like the idea. There's Belly on the inside, seam, and a
Antoine Rivera again.
Rivera with a first down, if not a touchdown, saving tackle.
Great job keeping contained, not flowing with where the motion of the play was going, and crashing down to the inside.
And as a South Jersey guy, I really do appreciate and like Hammonton football. Always good, always consistent.
Consistent is the biggest word for
always
me.
Executing well. And the one thing I do say, if I had to play Hammonton, I want to play them last week or this week, not the last 2 weeks, because it seems every year takes them a couple weeks to get themselves in order, and when they do, they go on a run. But every year in the beginning, it's like, what are they doing? They're 2-2, and next thing you know, they're winning the sectional title. So big 3rd down and real long. They go belly again and drop for a loss. Ryan Williams makes the first contact in there. Who cleaned that up? So 4th down.
Yes.
So the Vineland defense makes a stand after the opening kickoff is fumbled away. So Vineland looks to get the ball back in decent field position. This year they're going to have 2 players back to receive the kick, as Manson drops back a little shorter.
Tony being the deep back.
And that one's going to take a Vineland roll and be down to 32.
As you hear, poison, poison, poison. Get away from that ball. You have good field position where that is.
I always thought one of my best plays as a coach would be my punter kicking a line drive at all the – sorry, I was a defensive lineman – at all the stupid defensive linemen trying to hit one in the helmet. Because I got to figure, if you bust it through the middle of that line, it's going to hit somebody, right?
True.
Like, give it a shot. That was kind of what we got with Shelton last year. He had some line drives that he would just angle them away from people. And his punting average turned out to be pretty good.
It was effective.
7:33 to go in the 3rd quarter. Vineland down 20-6. 1st and 10 for your Fighting Clan. So give on the inside. Patrolled really well, coming off a block and making a stop. And that linebacker's up in the line of scrimmage in a hurry. That's Weissman.
Arthur just not getting a chance to fully get those shoulders squared to get upfield. But once he does, he hits the hole so hard that, like we were talking about at the end of the half, start testing the middle a little more.
Gandy throwing deep and just off the fingertips of Manson. That was on a line. But like that tackle, that initial contact was 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage on the play before by an inside backer. Talk about making the right reads and filling in a hurry. A really good job by the linebacking core of Hammonton.
Actually, on that last incomplete pass, it looked like they wanted to exploit that mismatch out there with the height. Now, instead of Vandiver being on Manson, now you're dealing with a 5'8", 5'10", defensive back. So that height advantage is even more noticeable.
Yeah, that was one of the concerns about moving Powell in the quarterback. You had that mismatch with Powell and Manson last year.
You seem to have lost the height advantage now out in the flats. And he was such a physical player on top of being tall.
3rd and 9. Looks like a screen, and it is. Ryan Williams has it, makes one miss. A great defensive job as he's stopped after a gain of about 3. A little skirmish at the end of that, but it's going to be 4th down and 5 for the Fighting Clan, as they'll have to kick it away with 6:50 to go here in the 3rd.
I think more than a skirmish, he just had somebody wrapped around his feet so he couldn't move as everybody's approaching, so it looks a lot worse than it is.
So Hammonton's defense answers right away with a 3 and out. Send Vineland back to punt as Gandy drops back. So nice to have football back, though.
It is. It's great. Hometown football at that.
Yeah, everything we've been through, and Vineland's schedule may have gotten a little tougher, but it's what they had and what they have now. There isn't much difference. We're really playing some great football teams, and it's a pleasure to play great football teams.
I mean, you lose at Timber Creek, a Lenape, and you pick up a Holy Spirit.
Nice kick by Gandy. Takes a great roll. It's going to come down inside the 10, just inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. Where it's down, looks like Winchester downs it there. So Hammonton with a long way to go with 6:02, but they're holding that 14-point lead.
With that punt, you saw a much better snap. So I think with that much better snap, Gandy in his mind doesn't feel rushed that he needs to hurry up and get the ball away for fear of it being blocked. So he got to take his time. I think that was the result. The result was that great punt he just got off.
Yeah, his best punt of the day for sure. And after watching the scrimmages, looks like, given the time, he's going to be okay back there. It's something you always look at because, every transition on a punt, if you're at a deficit punting, you're given 10, 15 yards every time you punt to the other team in field position. And this time Vineland picks up some field position with a nice punt by Gandy. There's pressure. Heading to the outside, cuts to the inside. There's a lane. And fortunately, the inside backer is going to make the tackle, but a gain of 5. Boy,
it looked for a second like he was going to break that one.
Well, Vineland's defense does give you some things you can do, but running inside the tackles has been really tough the past few years for people. And we're seeing a little bit of that now. And that doesn't mean, one missed block or one missed tackle and Abrams is out. Don't get me wrong, but we've done this to Jada Byers, kept him under 50 yards into the 4th quarter, and then he bust a couple.
I think a lot of that plays.
There we go. Nice job up front there. Defense starting to take over a little bit. That's going to make it 3rd and 5.
A lot of that plays into the Vineland defensive scheme, which we talked about earlier, is a 3-5, which is so different nowadays. Most people go with 4 down linemen. You see it week in, week out. You know how to block it. It's easier. It's repetitive. You know what's going to happen.
And I was interested to see how it worked. I know when we used to play against wing T teams, I loved a 4 front instead of a 5 front. Really gave my linemen better angles to do what they needed to do. But this 3, and you've got to double team Rivers in the middle. It's not just that he's big. He's an all-conference player. And now trying to get to the outside. Great job in pursuit from behind.
Antoine Rivera again. He's been Mr. Consistent.
Boy, all the way from the backside goes Rivera. Oh, and that's going to be enough for a 1st down.
1st and 10 for Hammonton.
So a big run getting that 1st down. It was close, but they got it. So one thing about tackling somebody from behind and laying forward.
Yes.
You got to tackle them when you get to them, don't get me wrong. But that fill by your linebackers and corners, even safeties, like we've got to stop that momentum and finish that forward momentum. Because you're talking about 2.5 yards if you can just land on your belly. So 1st and 10. Ball's loose on the ground.
Looks like Vanderveer got on top of it. It does seem to be in those 3rd and short, 4th and short situations. It seems to be Vanderveer keeping the ball. They're going up the middle with Abrams on the fake, and he seems to just be rolling out around the corner, catching that corner and getting those necessary yards. They need to get that 1st down to keep the ball in their hands.
Well, Hammonton's not really thrown the ball a ton. You ever think about this? Ball's on a hash, take your weak side corner and send them. I mean short side, not weak side.
I know.
Short side corner and just send them to flush and pressure. We don't need to get too aggressive right now, but that could be something that will come into play. There's a little bit of a waggle, cut to the inside, hit and drop. That's going to be no gain. on the play.
Vanderveer on the keeper.
I think that was a
Tries the right side.
waggle, or is that a little misread there? I think he missed the handoff on that one. Not sure.
Turned it into a waggle-looking
Yes.
play, didn't he?
Little or no gain on the play.
So third and 12.
12.
So Hammonton converted the last third down just by a little bit. Now Vineland has some room to work with.
Of Hammonton.
See if that defensive line has been saving a pass rush, because we're
Yes,
looking
here we
past
go.
here. I remember if Coach would give me a slant, whatever way he wanted me to slant, I'd lean that way and tell the guy. I didn't care. Follow me over there. And then when I needed a pass rush, I'd lean. He'd go, oh, this dummy's going that way again. Then that's a good time for a swim
Yes,
move.
it
So
is.
you got to save a pass rush in your pocket. Now be the time. And they're just going to go belly. Back on the inside, and Hammonton's going to have to punt it away.
Rucker on the
Surprising
carry.
with even a good punt in this situation gives Vineland
Gain of
pretty good
3 on
field
the play. That'll
position.
bring up a
So it's
4th down
surprising
and
that they
9.
chose to just run the ball there.
Ball's at
Well,
the
that belly
21
is
yard
nice, though.
line.
That's the one Abrams got loose for a
Yes.
big game before. It's almost like when we used to play Ocean City. And
That was their play.
They'd run that counter,
That was
and
their
you'd get
play.
screamed at. And
Riker back to
But
punt
you could see
for
if that tackle's
Hammonton.
not made, he's gone.
Yes.
You know. They
Tony
execute that
Johnson
well and
back
gave it a
deep
shot, but not
for
this time.
Vineland.
4th and 9. Low snap. Kicks a line drive. Gets away. It's going to take a decent roll, but it's going to be down in Hammonton territory. Hammonton's thinking it touched the Vineland player. The officials aren't agreeing with that. It should be Vineland's ball at the 46-yard line.
Yes, not quite sure what the
Well,
Hammonton
what did I-
coaches saw
What
there,
did I
but
talk about last time? Hit a line drive and hit a lineman.
There you
right?
go, and it almost
they
happened.
think that happened there.
Vineland will begin their drive 1st and 10 from the 46.
You know, the longest yard, he just threw the ball at him. But I think you could kick it and hit him, too.
yeah, that big guy's just too worried about getting down the field to make a block. He's not worried about something coming from behind.
So 1st and 10, Vineland down 14, 1:43 to go in the third quarter. Defense has played well this third quarter. Now it's time for the offense to try to get another one in. Gandy to throw. Zips a bullet in and out of the hands of the intended
Looked like
receiver.
Ryan Wams there. Just couldn't quite hang on to that ball.
Well, Gandy throws a pretty hard football there, too.
Bring up a 2nd down and 10 for the Fighting Clan. Ball at the same spot.
Got to tell our AD we need a jugs machine throwing something at 80 miles an hour. Get everybody used to grabbing that. 2nd and 10.
I'm a little surprised here that Gandy hasn't looked for Tony. He was a good, solid receiver last year. I mean, obvious with his numbers. Surprised they're not looking for him to catch the ball a little more.
Arthur through the middle, this time with a burst of speed. Has the 1st down and then some more down to the 26-yard line. Nice job inside. There was a seam, not a hole, and he got through that seam really quick, hitting the line of scrimmage with a
He was
burst
able
of
to do what I
speed.
said earlier. Once he got he hits the hole so hard, once he gets his shoulder squared up, and he's going to make it through. That was exactly what happened on that play.
Coming into this year, Coach Russo, one of the players he kept mentioning was Tony and his growth and his ability, and now finally being the bell cow for the backfield. And they give it again, and he gets about a yard out of nothing there. Going to be 2nd and 9.
It's hard to do a lot when you have people in your face as soon as you get the ball.
Little or no gain on the play.
I don't know. I think up front you got to have standoffs, and you should be able to get a push, even if you weak leg it. Somebody's beating you, drop a leg back, let the back go behind your butt, especially if you're a tackle on that play. Just bring that outside leg back, let him get up the field, have your back run underneath him. We had a center,
Let him
Joey,
go in what direction he wants to go and just push him that way.
had a center for 4 years, started for Vineland, Joey Bassetti. That's all he did. Whatever way he needed to block, he dropped the 1 foot, and the guy was on the other side. Quick swing out to Tony. Looking for somewhere to go, but there's 3 defenders there, and they hold him up. Van Dever, the first one on the spot. Gain of a couple, 3rd and 6.
Yeah, the drop snap there kind of put the timing off on that play a little bit.
Gain of 3 on the play. Bring up a 3rd down and 7. Ball's at the 22-yard line.
Well, we're down to 8 seconds. I doubt we'll get this play off as we're going to head to the 4th quarter. 20-6, Hammonton, but Vineland on the move at the 24-yard line with a 3rd down and 7. Well, good third quarter for Vineland.
Much more productive, both sides of the ball.
Pop something in here.
with this great field position, making it or not making the first down here, you still have great field position. You have a kicker with a big leg. Even if you don't get the first down, you get him a few more yards, who knows?
Yeah, I'm going for it twice. I'm going for it twice. I'm
yeah,
down 14
yeah,
right
you
now.
are down 14 points. It'd be nice, but it's always nice to have that back there as an option.
But you know what? It's like, let's say you hit a decent field goal here. You don't get this. You hit the field goal. Then you kick off and they get the ball at the 40. Well, if you go for it, you got them pinned back at the 20 to start their drive, which I think the Vineland defense, when they've had room at their backs, have done a decent job. Just when they're pressured and starting in horrible field position.
Same worst case scenario, Rich. I think they're getting it. Well, I'm leaning. They're feeling it right now. So I think we can get. I think Vineland can get this one.
We talked briefly about, the offensive line for Hammonton being a little smaller, being a little quicker. Are they going to wear down the bigger guys, or are the bigger guys on both sides of the ball going to wear down the smaller guys? And I think what we've seen so far in this half has been the bigger guys are starting to win up front.
Yes.
Believe me, it's not a dominant win. We're still getting runs for 2 yards, don't get me wrong, but the tides are starting to turn up front.
It's getting harder and harder to carry that big guy around all the time.
So Gandy looks to be throwing on this one. It's 3rd and 7, but he gives up the middle and dropped right at the line of scrimmage.
Trying to go with a little surprise draw.
Brock Beebe on the bottom of that one. So 4th down, Vineland will probably go for it here. They're at the 22. It's a situation where you kick a field goal if you happen to have another score.
Now you have to go for it. You have to go for it here.
Just to score, because your kicker's good from 40. If not more, but I'm saying like you're comfortable at 40. Gandy to throw. He drops. Pump fakes. Hit. Sacked at the 25, where Hammonton will take over.
Gandy sacked in the backfield.
I think that may have been a little situation. Receivers just didn't have a chance to get open. They're holding on to the ball just a little long. The offensive line did a good job, but you can only hold for so long without actually holding somebody.
It's a great point. So let's see, the defense can do it again here. It gets no easier for Vineland next week, as we had to have Seekin for Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, a top 6 team in South Jersey. Hammonton comes in at number 8, I believe. So a tough start to the schedule. And Millville's had the same issue. They go Hammonton. Gain of about 5 on the right side.
Stop by Rivera.
There's been some really good football games played here, and some crazy endings of football games played here. And
ball's at the 30-yard line of the Blue Devils.
There's still plenty of time for that that can happen tonight. Give it a hope. Although defense gave up a pretty big chunk on that first down. Hoping they can slow it down here.
And they do on that one, just a gain of about 1. It's going to be 3rd and 4.
Weissman on the carry.
All right, need your defense to make one more big play.
Gain of about 2.5. Now the 3rd down and 2.5. Ball is at the.
So as I talked about before, Rich, you think this is the fake counter and Vandiver running for the edge?
No, I'm just going belly. I'm going belly. I'm trusting my guys up front and running belly to Abrams. So it's going to be my linebacker versus your guard in the hole.
Well, it looks like we have a little holding call helping Vineland out here.
So it should be 3rd and about 10. That's good enough for the first down by about 3 yards. Most likely a holding call in there, set up a 3rd and about 10. The flags, maybe 9. The flag's down just outside the first down marker. It's kind of like pass interference, you know. Like I play fantasy football, and my receiver gets tackled because he's wide open. I get no points, but
Yes.
the team gets the ball there. So, you know, when you get a holding call, that's a good job. I used to remember, Coach, he's holding me. Well, if you don't get separation, you're not getting a
it's
call.
not going to be
Like,
seen.
Quit whining about it. So 3rd and 7 officially.
As they say, it's only holding if you get caught.
But
As an offensive lineman, I did a lot of holding in my day, so I know all about that. I think I held almost every play. I think I was only called twice, once in high school and once in college.
So 3rd and long, type formation for Hammonton. Will Hammonton be happy to take 30 seconds off the clock? They're going to pitch it wide. Winchester up. Abrams with a straight arm. Turns the corner, and look at that speed as he busted to the 40. What an acceleration as he got to that edge.
I was all waiting for those blocks up front, being patient. Once he saw everything develop in front of him, he turned that speed on.
Winchester made him commit to get to the inside, but just no support from the backers on that.
Had Blakely, was it, coming from the other side to make that tackle, so it shows a lot of hustle.
Boy, it was quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
There
There was one guy moving twice as quick as everybody else on the field. So Hammonton on the move now inside Vineland territory at the 39-yard line. Van Dever is going to give up the middle. And Evans takes on a block and drops down and trips up the running back.
And without that, he had some nice down blocking in front of him.
At least a first down.
Yeah, he looked like he was headed for a first down.
8:46 to go. Vineland's defense needs a stop here. Rivers, Dutra, and Williams up front.
Starting to see the Vineland linebackers creeping up just a little bit more towards the line of scrimmage.
Trying to get to the outside is Abrams. He's going to be wrestled down by Blakely, but not before he has a first down.
Blakely doing everything he could to shed that block and make the tackle. Just unfortunate for him, Abrams already had the first down.
Time for a turnover. 8 minutes, 19 seconds. Hammonton on the move.
Yeah, it's only been one turnover for Hammonton today, and that was on the
Kickoff.
strip tackle. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, and that one kickoff. So, yeah, finally another one would do Vineland well right here.
Give to the middle, turns his back, falls forward, gain of 6.
Yes, there is the reason he's as advertised, as they say.
Nice job up front. As we were talking about Vineland's size starting to take over in the trenches, Hammonton's offensive line working as a unit is taking that advantage back from the Fighting Clan.
Yeah, their guards are doing an excellent job of pulling, making those seal blocks on the outside or on the inside traps, the same thing. Whether it's a tackle that's trying to fill that hole or a linebacker.
They go pitch to the outside. It's turned in. Wow, what an outstanding job defensively by Winchester. Winchester's the outside guy. He turns the play in and then dives in and makes the tackle. Nice job by Deshaun.
He recognized the wide pitch early on, made the blast upfield, took on a blocker, forcing Abrams to the inside. In that case, you have to hope everybody else on the inside is doing their job. I pushed him back to you. Now you have to do your job.
Belly, belly, belly. 3rd and 2. What you got?
What else?
So if you watch up front, the guy just to the left there, 58 the guard, or 55. He'll probably be pulling to the right here. Let's take a look. Nope, and they're just going to blast
Straight
it
dive.
over that side to a dive. Looks like it's going to be enough for the first down. Well, Hammonton just taking some time off the clock as they march down the field at 6:22, which we'll be running in a moment once the ball's ready for play.
Looks like this drive's starting to take a toll on some of the Vineland defenders right now.
Yeah, they have a new nose guard in there now as Rivers is out. Dutra in on the D line as they roll their defensive linemen. Time for Ryan Williams to make a play here. Little hop. Man, looks like just a little hop and a fall, but it's 6 yards,
Like
7
you said,
yards.
he's falling, but he's falling forward when he's getting tackled. So you're picking up those extra 2 yards that add up over time.
If you're a back that had 1,800 yards last year, and you've been kind of handcuffed here, but your team's doing great, look at the maturity of him.
Yes.
Not trying to do too much, not bouncing things wide and losing your possession. Just a really good team concept. And sometimes that's hard to have from an elite running back.
Yes.
Not trying to just do it all. Back to the other side. Blakely comes up. It's going to be short of the first down. They're going to make it 3rd and 2 as Blakely makes a stop on that.
Just as you spoke of earlier. And then there's that whole, in the back of your head, I know it's there, I want to be the school's leading rusher all time.
Yeah.
So you would think in that situation you would tend to do a little extra, do all the dancing in the backfield and all those things, maybe reverse your direction occasionally. But no, he sticks to it. He knows the play, he lets it develop, and then he hits the hole.
Taking nothing away from his running abilities, but he plays within the system that has been productive for decades here in Hammonton. Falling forward, let's see where the side judge is. Looks a little short of the first down.
Could bode well to
So
make
4th
a
and
nice
2.
stop here.
Hammonton up 14. They're going to try to go up 17. 3 substitutes come in.
I think this is where you're going to have your unbalanced line.
My gosh, you
that
see
they
how,
were-
you see
that they
how
were so
often they
effective
did
with.
that against Millville? It's like
Yes.
Millville never adjusted down to it. They would go unbalanced and run belly back to the weak side
Yeah.
and just eat them up. I was like, oh, my God. Because the angles were so perfect for the offside tackle and guard.
Yep.
Like, the flow would go where he wanted it. Big 4th down here. The give and the dive over to 5. It's going to be enough for the first down for Hammonton. And we are down to 3:48 to go. About an 8-minute drive.
Yeah, they're really putting it together now. It looks like Michael DiAgostino, whenever they need those really crucial yards, he's the guard tackle that they're running behind.
Boy, the time has just flown off with this running attack, just taking 30 seconds
we don't-
off.
We're not used to this anymore with everybody in the pistol offense.
Yeah. That shows you it can still work. Double tights here. Van Evers waiting. See the back judge start to count down, so he takes every second he can off the clock. And now they're ready with 5 seconds on the clock before the delay. Given the middle, Vineland trying to tear it out, but he's tackled for a gain of about 1.
Yeah, that was it's been the philosophy of Hammonton ever since I can remember. Back in the Pete Lancetta days, it worked then, and seems like after he left, nothing's really changed in that. It's ball control offense.
Yeah, Coach Belfie really tried to instill the wing tee in Vineland, and Coach Lancetta was very helpful in trying to help him set it up, but I don't know that it really matches and maximizes our personnel. I'm not saying what we're doing now or did before
Yes.
is better or worse, but you have some advantages in the edges that you can take better advantage of different ways. It's a give over to the left side and into the end zone for the score is Abrams with 2:34 to go.
And once again, running right behind D'Agostino. So when they need those crucial yards, he seems to be the key.
Well, this third quarter started out well with the turnover and the score, and Vineland on the move. And when Hammonton got a chance, they
originally
decided they're going to take 8.5 minutes off the clock and get some points to.
Looked like Vineland started winning the field position battle. You were pinning them back, and all it takes is one play.
Boy, and Hammonton was patient, just grinding down the field there. So Vineland with a long way to go here with just 2.5 minutes, but let's see what the offense decides to do here as they try to gain a little momentum heading into next week's game at a very tough Holy Spirit.
And almost 9-minute drive. You just don't see those anymore at any level, really.
Such a weapon.
It is. If you remember a couple years, going back to Pete Lancetta, the last time the Prep played Vineland in Vineland.
Yeah.
Vineland, high-powered offense. What did the Prep do? They slowed it down, went ball control. So if you do it well, it is a definite weapon. You have to use it.
Yeah, really good Vineland team then, too. And it was like 3 times in a one-score game, Vineland had the ball inside the 20, and they withstood it, and then they grind it back out, grind it back out. It was almost as if they got a touchdown if they got 3 first down and took 4 minutes off the clock.
Yes. If you're playing against a high-powered offense, keeping them off the field, you're winning.
Yep. And when you have an offensive line that's been together for a long time and was one of the best things on your team last year, they really stepped up in this fourth quarter to have that drive go. And he should be commended for that as they're battling some really big guys on the other side, but they've got the job done as we're at 2:34. And Tony at the 11 to the 20. Hesitates, tries to pick his way through the middle. He's going to get out to the 21.
It looks like Vineland may be picking up a silly penalty here.
I don't even know that should have been a penalty. They both were locked up and went to the ground. Yeah.
It's not the old days of us. It's just football. Still waiting for a call.
Personal foul against Vineland. Walk-off 15 yards.
Yeah, so it was a big one.
Yeah.
Personal foul variety.
At least it wasn't a mean, vicious, stupid one. It was just a block that lingered a little too long. All right, Caleb. Let's throw another one here.
Use that big arm and start airing it out.
Hammonton just sends 3. Now a late one. And Tony's going to dance about and pick up about 4 with 2:19 to go.
It's what they're giving you. You take advantage, and you hope you break one. Seems to be the situation Vineland's in right now.
Well, Vineland's offense, if you got to look at something in there, it's just not able to establish either the pass or the run today. A little in between, and down and distance were horrible with field possession in the first half. Gandy takes this himself through the middle, and he's over the 26-yard line. Gain of a couple for 3rd down with 1:41 to go and running on the clock. I'd like to thank our crew tonight and welcome everybody back to a year of Vineland football. It's going to be a short and abridged one. But you're going to see some great teams like we've done the past few years. We start out with Central Jersey Group 4 champ Hammonton tonight, and then we're heading to Holy Spirit for Parochial B champ. Ball's loose on the ground. Gandy comes up with it. He's going to float it. Looks like Manson has it and steps out of bounds after a short gain.
Say for all the old guys, it's a little bit reminiscent of days of old. A lot of Cal teams coming back onto the schedule.
Yeah, and I do miss that. Every other sport we play Cal teams.
Yes.
This West Jersey football, I know a lot of people like it, and it's gotten us into the playoffs, got us some great
experience.
Exposure, too,
Yes.
for our play. We have so many players in college right now. Low snap again. Gandy, he was on his knee when he picked it up, so that's going to go for third down and about 10 with 1:13, and it'll be run and shoon. But there is something about, like, all right, football's playing Ocean City, so is cross country, so is soccer, and then in the winter it's basketball, wrestling, and swimming, and you played at school for a weekend. And there's something nice about the high school rivalry that way that you don't get with this stick all the big teams together. You know, for Vineland on the schedule this year with 3 parochial schools, which have different rules than the public schools, and makes it a little tough. But right now, swing out to Tony to the 30, makes a move to the inside to the 32, and he's going to be out of bounds. It's going to be looks like a first down. Yeah, I thought he was short, but he's got it with 34 seconds to go.
Clock will start once the ball is set. Chains are set.
Well, Hammonton definitely the better team tonight. I don't mean to take anything away from them, but you know, having a game last week, whether you won it or lost it, kind of is a big advantage, especially when you have one preseason game only, which was what most people had, and that is not the difference in this ball game. Don't get me wrong, but you know, we'll see a crisper Vineland team next week. You know, you got out on the field in a real situation, understand what you've done right or wrong, a lot of film to look at and deal with.
But you see actual stuff to break down.
Yeah, and you've seen some guys flash a little bit. I mean, coming into this, I knew Ethan Evans was a good football player, but his nose for the football is much better than I had anticipated. Gandy showed an arm. The line showed they can protect for him. There's stuff to build on here. Low snap, swung out to Manson. Ducks to the inside, now the outside. Hesitates, goes forward, has the first down, but that's going to be it as the clock is going to expire. So Hammonton goes 2-0 at their home field, a 27-6 win over Vineland. The only tightness was in that third quarter after the turnover and the Vineland score on the opening kickoff, but then it was a long drive that really just cemented everything for Hammonton. So Hammonton off to a great start, and sometimes that isn't the case here in Hammonton. We talked on the way up that they're a great football team, but sometimes it takes 4 or 5 games to get them the right way, but they're the right way right now. They should look forward to a really nice season.
Which in their case is a big plus in a shortened season.
Well, any words before we get out of here, Coach Love?
One thing I'm definitely going to take away from this game, even though they gave up 27 points, one thing I'm really impressed with on the defensive side of the ball was the short tackling. That's been a big thing that's kept Vineland out of a few games, is they were never that short tackle. They would make that contact, runners would get away. Today I didn't see any of that. So that's my biggest plus I want to take out of this. And I hope the coaches see that and let the kids know you did what you needed to do. There's just little things we need to work on, and we will get better.
Oh, without question. And I think that first starting game for Gandy, he had some success at times. Running game had some success at times. It wasn't enough times for anything that we were doing, but you saw things you could do against a really solid football team. So I look forward to the rest of this season. This is Rich Scarpa for Terry Love and Coach Parentazzi listening at home. We'll see you in 2 weeks when we're back home. But next week, we're heading Friday night down to Absecon for Holy Spirit.
Coach Burns Stadium.
That's it. I hope they have a nice press box for us. Thank you to the crew and everyone else. The Rich Scarpa for Terry Love. We'll see you next week.
The Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of Vineland High School football team this season. Sir Speedy, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Ducharmes, the Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Newfield National Bank, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Caterers, Allen Associates, Delsey ShopRite, Medio Law Firm, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, TechNed Consulting, Vineland Education Association, Begal University, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria and Restaurant, MVP Sports Bar, Richland Carpet and Flooring, G&S Dry Cleaners, Carluzzo and Teresi Petroleum Transporters, Beyond the Insurance Agency, Dr. Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, Baruffi Brothers, Lugiano Medical, Van Dodge, Assman Installation, Homestead Plumbing and Heating, the Gorgo Group, the DeWinney family, and the Russo family. The Vineland High School football team and coaches thank everyone for their support on and off the field and look forward to another successful season.